Now that you've learned how to list rational numbers and know what rational number is, now we will learn about comparing rational numbers. Before we actually do some examples, we're going to do the same thing what we did with integers. We use this sign, which is, this sign means less than, and this one means greater than. Still, the rules don't really change much from integers with positive numbers. So I'll just write something very quickly this way. So these are, by the way, called inequality symbols. And this one, which means greater than, this one means less than. And here are two quick things I want to write. So one thing that's important, that all positive numbers are greater than negative numbers. And the next thing, I just said in the integers, well, we compared integers, comparing and ordering integers video, that with negative numbers, the closer you are to 0, the larger the number is. Well, this is opposite from very positive. With positive numbers, the farther away you are from 0, the larger you are, right? So it's a little bit different with negative numbers, because technically, if you think about it, if you're closer to 0, you're going to become a positive number quicker. Now that we've written these same as, now we can do some examples with comparing, right? So we compare using, I'll write on the very side, less than or greater than symbol. So you can keep that in mind while we're doing all these. So the first example I have is 3/8 and 2/7. We've done this really back earlier. Well, I think it was adding fractions. That if you're adding two fractions, you have to remember, make sure that they have the same denominator. Same thing kind of applies while we're comparing them. I can't compare these two because they're a different denominator, and the numerator is also different. So I have to convert them into where they're same denominator. This way, I can actually compare them. So this one, I'm not going to detail how to do this because I already explained it in another video. If you're confused, you should probably look at that video. This will convert into 21 over 56, because if you times 8 by 7, you get 56, and if you times 3 by 7, you get 21, and to get 56 here, I have to times 7 by 8, so I have to do the same thing to 2, times that by 8, and get 16. Now I can compare between them a lot easier. So now this one is pretty simple and straightforward. This one, 21 over 56, is greater than 16 over 56, right? It's going to become a whole number a lot faster, easier way to think about it. Let's do a couple more examples. So let's do negative 3/8 and negative 2/7. Again, if you look back here, we had 21 over 56, so this is the same thing. Negative 21 over 56. And then the other one was negative 16 over 56. Now, it is important to think about. If you go back here where I said the rule, with negative numbers, the closer you are to 0, the larger the number is. So which number, if you think about a number line, this is 0. Right over here is negative 16 over 56. And right over here, negative 21 over 50. Whoops, negative 21 over 56. So you can see down in the fridge. So which number is closer to 0? This one is closer, and it's going to become a whole number a lot faster. This negative 3 over 8 is less than negative 2, 7. This is really important to think about again, because if you think about a whole number, like over here, this was greater than. Because it's farther away from, it was more farther to 0, like away from 0, right? And with negatives, the farther you are, you're less, right? You have to be closer to 0. And negative 2 sevenths is way more closer than negative 3 over 8. Let's do some examples. So 1.867 and 1.847. This one's pretty clear, easier again. So which one is greater? They're both positive numbers, so it's a little bit easier here again. So this one is greater than, right? So this one's greater. That's going to become 2 a little bit faster than the other one. And let's do negative. Same number, but this time with a negative sign. So what number is so let's think about a number. Let's have a visual example here. This is 0. Right over here, I guess, we can have negative 1.847. And right over here, we can have negative 1.867. So, again, same thing. What number is closer to 0? What number is going to become a whole number faster? Or not a whole number, sorry. A positive number first. Right, this one is going to become a whole number faster. Negative 1.867 is less than negative 1.847. Both of them are, again, rational numbers because they're, even though they're decimals, they're terminating the end. So if you think about it, if we remove the negatives, right, it's always opposite. If they're the same number, pretend the same value, right, but we just add the negative sign, it's going to flip, right? It's going to obviously flip. So right here, same thing goes here. This time, this one's less greater, so you can think about it that way. So you can probably, if you want, convert into like a first in your head, like a positive number. Whatever you get, it's going to be the opposite with the negative. That's how I like to think about it. Now let's do 3 over 8 and 0.847. Now right away, you can't really start converting because they're in different rounds. One is in a decimal, one is in a fraction. So what you probably would want to do is, if you remember back in the converting between fractions, decimals, and percents video, if you have not watched, I would probably recommend watching that one. It would help you here. Instead of converting this into fraction, I think it is easier to convert this one because then we have to again find the same denominator and everything. So this one, if you go right, you would just, this one actually comes 0.375. I'm going over this very briefly because if you're confused, you should probably check the video because I don't want to make this video too long. And I'll rewrite the same thing over here. And that's easier to distinguish which one is greater. Obviously, this one's greater, right? It's almost about to become a 1. This is, right, this one's going to become a whole number faster. So now let's do same numbers with decimals. I think now you can see the pattern. Okay, so here I'm going to rewrite on the bottom negative 0.375. So now you can easily see it a little bit easier. So which number is more closer to 0? I would have drawn the visual, but I don't think I have enough space. So again, here probably would be this is 0. This would be negative 0.37. So that would be 0.375. And here would be negative 0.84. I know, that's really bad. I just don't have enough space. So which one is more close to 0? So this one's a lot closer to 0. It's going to become a positive number before this one. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you can easily now distinguish and compare rational numbers. And if you remember these two things, you'll probably have a lot easier time comparing them. Again, with negative numbers, you have to think which number is closer to 0. That's how you'd probably figure it out. Compare. It's a lot easier to compare two negative numbers when you think about, okay, which negative number is more close to 0, and whatever one is closer is probably the greater number. Is the greater number. So hopefully this video helped. And that's it for this video. Next video we'll learn about absolute